You're looking at a cube so big it can swallow 20 Empire State Buildings. That's not a metaphor. It's the Mukaab, a 400-meter high, 400-meter wide, and 400-meter long megastructure rising in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. That's 64 million cubic meters of volume, enough to fit 2,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools inside. This is a city packed into a building. Offices, hotels, apartments, flying carports, digital parks, and a spiral skyscraper inside the cube itself. Yes, a skyscraper inside a skyscraper. But building something this massive in the middle of a desert, with all that heat, sand, and structural pressure, that's where it gets crazy. How do you even keep a cube like this from caving in on itself? Let's step inside the most ambitious cube the world has ever seen. Back in 2016, Saudi Arabia launched a bold idea, Vision 2030. The plan? Move away from oil and build a new kind of economy, one built on innovation, tourism, and futuristic cities. But to pull that off, they needed landmarks, projects so big, so out there, they'd get the whole world watching. And so came Neom, The Line, Oxagon, and now New Maraba, Riyadh's new downtown. At the heart of it, the Mukaab. Why a cube? Well, Riyadh wanted a centerpiece, a global icon, something that screams, this is the future. But it wasn't just about looks. The city needed to grow fast. Traffic, population, business, everything was rising. The old downtown couldn't handle it. So instead of expanding outwards, they decided to go up and in. The Mukaab was born, a megastructure designed to stack urban life vertically, all inside one giant cube. Alright, so you want to build a cube. Not a house, not a tower. A cube 400 meters tall, wide, and deep. That's taller than most skyscrapers, but with the same width and length. You're not just dealing with height, you're fighting gravity on every axis. And it's happening in the middle of a desert that regularly hits 45 degrees Celsius in summer. Let's start from the bottom, the foundation. The cube sits on what engineers call a raft foundation, basically a thick concrete slab that spreads the building's load across a massive area. For a structure this heavy, estimated to weigh over 3 million tons, you can't risk even a tiny shift. To prep the land, workers removed 10 million cubic meters of earth. That's like digging out the entire volume of the Great Pyramid of Giza. 10 times. As of late 2024, 86% of that excavation was already done. They even built a temporary bridge to reduce truck traffic, cutting 800,000 heavy vehicle trips from city roads. Now the skeleton. The cube's frame is a hybrid of steel and high-performance concrete. Steel gives flexibility. Concrete gives weight resistance. But here's the catch. Normally, towers are narrow, so wind can pass around them. A cube? It blocks wind like a giant wall. Engineers had to factor in extreme lateral wind pressure, designing reinforcements that anchor the cube deep underground and use diagonal steel braces inside the walls to transfer wind loads evenly. Let's talk walls. The cube's facade isn't just glass. It's made up of triangular panels layered in a Najdi-inspired pattern. That's a traditional Saudi design made modern. The triangles aren't just for show. They help break up wind shear and reflect sunlight. These overlapping layers create shade and reduce heat absorption, keeping the structure cooler without needing as much air conditioning. But it still needs cooling. Lots of it. That brings us to climate control. How do you cool 2 million square meters of interior space in the desert? Answer: district cooling. Instead of every apartment and shop having its own AC, there's a centralized cooling system underground. Massive chilled water plants send cold air through insulated pipes across the entire cube. This cuts down energy use and keeps the indoor environment stable. It's like an air-conditioned mini-city, but the size of 500 football fields. Inside the cube, the centerpiece is a spiral tower that stretches almost to the ceiling. It's designed like a double helix, wrapping around an open vertical atrium that goes from the ground floor to the top. Picture a DNA strand, but 300 meters tall. This inner tower has 80 floors of offices, hotels, and restaurants. Around it, there's a mix of retail zones, exhibition centers, art museums, and VR arenas. And this is where it gets futuristic. The cube's inner dome is wrapped in immersive screens, giant LED, and holographic panels that turn the space into a digital world. You walk in, and suddenly you're under the ocean, or in ancient Rome, or Mars. The projection system uses layered lighting, motion tracking, and surround sound to fully transport you. Think Las Vegas Sphere, but way bigger. And the content isn't just entertainment. It's tied to the businesses and events inside. Lighting is another huge challenge. A building this deep can't rely on windows. So they're using sun pipes, tubes lined with reflective material that capture sunlight from the roof and send it down through the cube. That natural light cuts electricity use and creates a healthier feel. But when the sun sets, a smart lighting system kicks in. LEDs that adjust color and intensity based on time and location to mimic real daylight cycles. Let's zoom out to transport. Getting in and out of this place needs serious planning. The Mukaab will have its own internal transit system, an autonomous electric shuttle network that loops through the inner layers of the building. It's like a metro, but built entirely indoors. Outside, there will be electric vehicle roads only, no gas engines allowed. And for the bold, a flying carport on the top deck is already in the plans. It sounds crazy, but with companies like Joby and Volocopter testing air taxis, this might actually be ready by 2030. Now, think about the strain this puts on the building's structure. Every floor adds weight. Every hologram rig, light pipe, shuttle track, and tower room adds more. So engineers needed a load distribution system that spreads the pressure both vertically and horizontally. That's where mega columns come in, huge concrete pillars with steel cores that run from the foundation straight through to the roof. These aren't just support beams, they're more like structural trees holding up a mountain. On top of that, there's vibration management. In a building this tall and wide, even foot traffic can cause micro vibrations. So, under the floors are dampers, mechanical cushions that absorb shock and keep everything stable. These systems are common in earthquake zones, and even though Riyadh isn't a major seismic area, the cube's sheer mass means it has to be over-engineered. Let's not forget utilities. The Mukaab needs water, power, and waste management on a scale most cities don't even match. Water will come from Saudi's desalination plants and be stored in rooftop reservoirs and underground tanks. The building has a dual water system, one for drinking and another for recycled gray water use in toilets, landscaping, and cooling. Electricity will come partly from solar panels integrated into the roof and facade, plus local power plants in the new Mukaab district. A battery backup system will ensure operations don't stop, even during outages. Waste will be collected through smart chutes and sorted on-site, with 90% targeted for recycling or composting. Finally, let's look at sustainability. The cube is part of a bigger ecosystem. New Mukaab will be a 15-minute city, meaning everything you need, home, work, school, entertainment, is within a 15-minute walk. There will be green rooftops, shaded walkways, cycling tracks, and AI-managed traffic systems to cut down on cars. The cube itself will offset 35% of carbon emissions compared to older downtowns by using renewable energy and building with low-carbon concrete and recycled steel. All of this comes at a huge cost, The Mukaab alone is expected to cost around $50 billion, with the entire new Maraba district pushing that number even higher. It's part of Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, backed by $620 billion in national wealth. If finished on time, the project is expected to create 334,000 jobs and contribute $47 billion to the non-oil economy. But it's not without criticism. Human rights groups have raised concerns about migrant workers, long hours, and poor living conditions. Others question whether the Mukaab is really for the people, or just a luxury playground for elites. And with only 5 years left before the 2030 deadline, progress needs to move fast. Still, for now, the cube rises, and the world is watching. If you made it this far into the cube, hit like, tap subscribe, drop a comment, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next.